Good morning, everybody. It is 49 degrees. It's chilly. I got this thing on because last night I actually, thing all thrown out now, but actually last night I slept here instead of up front. Because as you can see, we are real close to the barge channel. Down there is where you go into the Chain of Rocks Canal. I got just outside of it because you can't anchor inside of it. And now this morning we'll check out our, do our damage assessment fully. Should be good to go. I called ahead to lock and dam number 27. I don't want to get turned around again. And he said if I get in there about 10 or 11, latest noon, I should be good to get to Hoppies, which is south of here, to get our next stop. And then we can really check out the back of the boat. I should be able to just order some new gudgeons from Catalina Direct. They're bent, but they're still connected to the boat and they're sealed fine, so we're not taking on water or anything. And I got a new cotter pin in the rudder, and I should be able to, I'm going to put some seizing wire in there as well to really make sure it can't pop out. We should be good to go. The only real thing is the cable that goes from the steering pedestal to the rudder is single, and they don't make those anymore. So we're going to kind of have to see what we can do, and hopefully we'll be able to, as you can see, we are right here on the channel. Very intimidating now after yesterday when the rudder popped off and we went almost right in front of a barge and died. But I had the rudder by my two arms, and dying is a pretty motivating thing to make you have some strength to turn a rudder. And we did not die, so yeah, we shall push on. If I can't find a cable, I'm gonna have to make a tiller, and we have some tiller, the side piece metal strapping, and then you put a board in there and some screws, and it should work. These boats normally have tillers, so it wouldn't be a big change. The wheel is what's really extra. Since they don't make Cinkel anymore, or C-I-N-K-E-L, I don't know if I'll be able to find the wire that goes from the steering pedestal down to the rudder. Our other option would be get an Edison pedestal, which would be a brand new one, but they're like $1,600, so that's not really an option right now. So we're gonna go from here and see what we can do. Hey everybody, so far so good.
Captain Day, this is Newbie.
There's some other loopers up the river that are going to come and join us. They'll catch up.
Join me.
Ridge where we got in.
If that's okay.
We're able to get up.
We all go through the next lock together.
Right off the
You think so? I don't know. We'll see.
Chain of Rocks. So this other powerboat wants to pass everybody, but the lockmaster said he wants everybody to go to. I set up our antenna there, so we do have way better range than just the handheld now. So the rudder's holding up okay. We did a bunch of seizing wire and hold it in. Got another cotter pin. It's doing okay. On this side, there's just the cable, and only steer so far to the port side. So we just got to make it down here to Hoppies. I think it's just a cord, and maybe I'll be able to find one. Otherwise, Cinkel does not exist anymore, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one. If so, we'll have to make it into a tiller. Downriver we head. Well, we made it again into the Chain of Rocks Canal. This time I am sticking in the middle. We've looked on the AIS and there are no other barges coming by. There's 3 or 4 other loopers behind us. Miss Mellow, New Beginnings, and Avalon, I believe. So they're going at like 7 or 8 knots. I can only go at like 5 knots, so they should catch up. and we'll all get to go through the lock and dam at the same time, because we call them all at the same time. They're going to hold a few barges and make sure we can get down there and then let the barge through, which was really, really cool of them, because normally barges have the right-of-way. So, but I told them about my rudder situation yesterday, and I think they had a little sympathy for me. Just to show how low the water really is. Not even touching the marker there. Normally it would be up to about almost to the top of where those rocks are.
Up the bucket hole once again.
So I thought I'd show you guys just how low the water really is. It's not even up to the marks on the bridge. And there you can see the different lines where it's been. Normally it would be about halfway up the bank there, maybe a little higher. So we are low. Where I hit whatever was probably about a half a mile or a mile past this bridge on the starboard side up there. When we were passing the barge, all of a sudden, BAM! Alright, we have new beginnings up here. They passed us. They're trying to get in through the lock before everybody else. The other two boats, Miss Mellow is in the very back. And we have Avalon and another boat. I think it's funny, my boat's named Mellow Miles, and then there's Miss Mellow. We probably won't be traveling with them because they go at like 9 miles an hour. We go at 5 to 6. But it's nice to see other loopers. So and it kind of all worked out to get through the canal here and them holding the barges. Wish they would have done that yesterday, because this is pretty close to the same spot. And so they were and then I was here, so they were over on our port side, and came over to our starboard side here to pass them, and that's when BAM! All of a sudden the rudder ripped off. I thought at first it ripped it right off the back of the boat. We were going to sink. But luckily that didn't happen. What happened is it must have hit a rock or a tree or something. Trying to see if I can see if there's any tree branches or anything that you can see on the wall. And it must have just barely hit the bottom corner of it, because it pushed it up with all its force. And what happened is it sheared the cotter pin on the top there, and there isn't one on the bottom. And so they both popped out of the dungeons there, and then this was still connected, so it came up, went sideways, and was just kind of flopping behind us. The way it like flopped behind us, it was kind of like this, and you're in a boat, you know, it's kind of like that, you're going to turn, and so it shot us right over into the barge, and so
here we are.
I had to reach back, grab the rudder with both arms. I had to use this hand on the top to steady there, and my other one down kind of halfway, almost to the water, and push it and pull it over. And it was amazing how much force to the rudder goes through. I never realized how much force is there. And then, so it was kind of sideways, and I was like, oh my God. I reached up and I kind of slowed the boat down, and then I turned it so it was planing, and I got it, and I just held it straight up and down, and then I turned it sideways. I was able to push the wheel, and it pushed it, and then I just kind of held it up against the side of the gungans as hard as I could, and then we went woo, right at the barge, and then like the last minute they turned, and the barge guy had to have been like, what's going on? And the crazy part was going through my head is like, before I die, so I'm back here holding the rudder, and I had the handheld radio at the time, so it would have the best reception. I would hang it there, and as you can see, I cannot reach that. So So I was sitting here holding the rudder, going right at the barge, looking up at the radio, going, I can't even tell this guy, watch out. You know, so that was crazy. So that was a good learning experience. Do not do that with the radio. So this morning, that's why first thing I set up the antenna, and then now we have our built-in AIS right here, and this is our remote station. I can hang it right there, and then it works the same as a hardwired radio, and it does all the same features as the hardwired radio and has the better range, which this morning I've already, sorry, I flipped the camera. This morning I've already could definitely tell I was catching way more conversations and stuff compared to this one, and then when you have them both on, and then you can test it too, because when you talk in the hardwired one, it comes out in the handheld one, or if you do the handheld one, it comes out in the hardwired one. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, so now that we have that, that'll be right back there, and what I'm going to do is I'll always have this attached to my life jacket, the handheld one. The battery was dead because I had it with me when I was sleeping all night, and so I have it there. But once I get it charged, from now on, that will always be part of my back belt, because if you go in the water, obviously if it was up there, you wouldn't have it with you, and if I have my cell phone up here for my navigation, if I go in the water, I won't have any way to contact help. So from now on, I'm liking how everything's happening, is we'll have the hardwired radio for the boat. That's the ASI, or yeah, the AIS alarm. I haven't changed the setting on it. I have it set for like 5 miles, default setting, and this barge is all over within that. So what we need to do is change that so that's down lower, and then it'll just work out perfectly. So we have our remote radio there. We have one in the middle of the cockpit, and then we can, when we're sleeping, we bring that up into the front, and then that way we have radios wherever we need them. And then another really cool part about this remote station, hardwired thing, is it has an intercom as well. So if I need to, I can intercom from this one and talk down to there. So if we ever have crew on board, or if we're doing anything and somebody's sitting down there and you don't want to yell, or the engine, you can go, hey! So one thing that we next have to do is it comes with a PA speaker, and normally you'd put it up by the spreaders up there, but we're not going to take the mast down again, so temporarily I think I might put it just kind of up on the mast as high as I can go facing forward, and then that gives us a fog alarm that you can set, and then anytime you need to, it'll do a fog alarm at the correct interval, so you don't have to be sitting here doing an air horn can every once in a while. But then also, it's a horn, a fog horn. It also listens, so if it hears another fog horn, it'll tell you in what direction on the display. And then the other really cool thing is it's a PA too. So like this New Beginnings, when I tried to reach him on channel 14, 12, 16, and everything, and he didn't respond. When he went by, I just yelled and said, hey, I'm not getting any more over to the starboard, because this is pretty close to where I took my rudder out yesterday. So sorry. I don't know if he is aware that the lock and dam said they're going to wait for us, so he might be in a real hurry to try to get ahead of us, but he's still going to be waiting for everybody back here. It's kind of cool they have the 3 going there. Well, here we are at Lock and Dam number 27. New Beginnings was in a big rush for no reason. Like the military, hurry up and wait. He had to pass everybody, and now he's waiting. We made no rudders ripped off or anything. The boat's behind us. I was in the front. He was way over on the starboard side, and I was gonna tell him to be careful, but he was okay. He just got really unlucky yesterday, I guess. Might actually be another sailboat with the mast down. Maybe they had it shipped. That's kind of cool. From where I'm at, I'm pretty sure it is though. Definitely cool. So we're gonna get over New Beginnings. There should be some northbound traffic coming out soon, so we gotta be careful. They're not very maneuverable, and there's not much room to do anything here. Real shallow, like 9 feet. We do not have the keel down, but so here, as you can see on the wall there, that's how logs are and stuff. So your depth finder will be saying 8 feet, 8 feet, and then log or a branch coming up like that. Maybe that's what it was, a branch that came up just right. The keel made it through, and it just tapped the rudder. It's real interesting. I go first, but the rudder does go down a teeny bit farther than the keel when it's down, so it must have been just whoa. And the motor, the prop goes down farther than the keel when it's spinning, when it's up, just a teeny bit. So I don't know if the prop blades got bent a little or what happened. So we'll have to find out. The Mississippi's a little dirty to jump in, but once we get south into the Gulf, jump in and check the prop and everything. Hopefully we'll get some new dungeons ordered to Green Turtle Bay, and then we'll be good, hopefully. Otherwise we'll be making a tiller. Or we have the option of trying maybe an insurance claim, and they don't single pedestal doesn't exist, but Edson one does. I don't know if they would buy one or how that. Here's another example of one of those trees, and then the branches stick up. And so see, if you were going, say you're 8 feet, and then that sticks up another 2 or 3 feet, and bam, no good, no good. So we'll get down over here by this New Beginnings and make sure we're not in the way of any barges. Hopefully we can get through the lock. Oops, sorry. With that auto stabilization, you'll hold the camera somewhere and you'll kind of slowly turn it, and it'll sometimes stick on a target, so then it doesn't actually move. Oh, we're in 8 feet of water. I don't like this at all. Especially after yesterday, I have PTSD. Not really, but it's just stressful. Especially when you think about it. Normally the water level would have been up to like right there or right there. So, but it makes it an adventure. But obstacles are only things to overcome after all. Here's another one of those silver carp. That one's dead, so that's good. Chilling back here, and we're waiting. We've got other loopers. It's most definitely a sailboat. Makes me happy to see other sailboats as well. Especially this late in, people started giving me crap, saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing. You didn't plan this right." And did, and you leave at this time of year. Normally, we just kind of got that cold spell that was like 2 or 3 weeks early, and that kind of sucked. But we made through it. We're from Minnesota. We can handle the cold, no problem. No problem. We'll get up here by New Beginnings parked. We'll wait for the northbound traffic, and then we'll hopefully get through. Here we are waiting. We have our fellow loopers. Alright, we're sitting, and hopefully we'll be able to get to go through soon. I talked to the other boat over there. They shipped their mast down to Mobile, Alabama, and that's where they're going to put up their mast. These other 2 boats are power boats, so I don't have to worry about masts. So we're still just chilling, waiting here. I know that New Beginnings guy, he's probably got to be impatient because he got down here.
27 to the pleasure boat. You go out and start moving over to the smile chamber on the Missouri side.
Alright, so we
New
can
Beginnings, roger that.
head on over here. Alright, we're headed on in. I don't know if this one has lines or floating chucks or what. I think this is an upper. This will be our first up. So that'll be interesting. So he said we could float, so that's gonna be nice. I'm gonna go up here on the right side, and I think those other people will go up on the left side. And then we should be good. I like floating. It's a lot easier. This will be cool. It'll be our first up and first lock with, or no, second lock with the mast. We went through the other one. So we're gonna float this one. To me, it's just a little easier to float them. Plus, we missed the banister. We were real close to it, and I didn't have a long enough rope to reach out and grab it. So we got real good at floating here. We just gotta watch out for everybody else. Be careful. This is another one where the back wall raises up. So there we have Avalon. There's Miss Mellow, John D. something, and New Beginning. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Alright, I look like I inspired everybody to float. So there's Miss Mellow.
Down looking forward to Rockmount.
All good.
Flat 27 back. Is it okay to float in the middle? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, so far so good. This one doesn't make the super creepy noise. I guess their chocks are a little bit better. So, down we go. Not sure how far this one drops. That one's really cool. The back antenna thing goes down for the bridges and stuff. We're gonna stick our front end this way. Then give her some reverse. And then it should be right up against the wall here. I still have to move the boom up. It's right in our view. Yesterday, after our craziness with the rudder, I pretty much got to the first place I could anchor, which was right outside the chain of rocks canal, and then anchored and then assessed all the damage and then took a break. My arms were beat. It is insane how much it takes to move a rudder, and when you're doing that, it is just crazy to think. And then my arms were beat because you can't just let go or you would hit a barge. So pretty much you give it your all till you can't, and then you give it a little more. Alright, it looks like the door is starting to open here. So we should be able to head out. Probably help if you guys were looking at the door and not me, huh? So, these guys will probably all pass me because they're going 8-9 miles an hour. We only go 6, but it works. we're gonna head down to Hoppies. Ooh, that barge, that one is real close to where that door is. You gotta do a little reverse action, that one's close. Gotta love these other boats. They have bow thrusters and in the rear so they can just move sideways. That would be really cool to fiberglass a bow thruster into the mellow. I've seen people do it in a Catalina 25, so it is possible. Alright, they definitely had to do some reverse action to clear that door, or that would have been interesting. I wonder if any boats have ever actually got crushed behind the doors. So next we'll head to Hoppies and the fuel dock there, and we'll fill up all our cans. And I called and asked, and he said there's no transient slips for the night, so we'll just get in and then once we get in, or I mean get anchored, we'll kind of check out the boat more and clean up everything after I threw everything around when I was trying to find the tools I needed to fix the rudder, because I had to get some seizing wire, and then I had to get the cotter pins. Luckily I had some seizing wire back here, and there was a little bit as well on the screwdriver that we have for our cotter pin for our rudder. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and it just kind of worked out.
You got 5 pleasure boats coming toward you. Once they pass, come on up to the small chamber. Roger that. Will do. We appreciate you.
The new radio is so clear compared to the handheld. It's amazing. So I was able to get that seizing wire on there, and that would then hold the rudder down so it didn't pop up and out of the gudgeons, because it floats. I never realized the rudder floated, and it tries to float up and pop out of the gudgeons, so we couldn't just let it go or it would be hanging again. So what I was able to do is get the seizing wire, wrap it around underneath the pintle, and then up around the top so it would hold it down. And then I was able to get up into the cabin here and grab my cotter pins, which I now am going to leave in the combing box. And just to be safe, and then like how we got our wood pegs down there with the wood rubber mallet.
Your beginning, thanks for the watch. Hey, you guys are all welcome. Go have a safe trip. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right.
So it's definitely like having that remote helm there. You just reach back and grab it, and it's as clear as a hand or a hardwired radio. So I do wish we had it up on top of the mast, but beggars can't be choosers. I'm just real happy that we have it, and that we were able to get the radio that we did, because I was going to get the next down model that didn't have AIS built in. I'm very happy with the one that has AIS built in, GPS built in. It has the DSC messaging, which is really cool, because with the AIS you can go over to a boat around you if they have AIS, and you can click it and it'll send them almost like a text message, and it'll tell them what channel to go over to, and then they can go over to that channel. They can hit yes on their radio if it has the DSC messaging, and then that allows you to you don't have to call them up on the radio, or 16 or whatever channel, and say, hey, this person. You can literally just send them this thing, and they click OK, and it'll click over to the channel that you're on, and then you're good to go. So yeah, we finally got. It was a little disheartening yesterday after all of that happened with the rudder, and then we got to the lock and dam, and they said, no, closed, you gotta go back. Because I probably would have made it through in time, but because of having to deal with the rudder. I had to stop for like an hour or two and figure stuff out, and then everything happening, I wasn't moving forward, and it just ended up getting late, and then they had me wait for a barge, and that took time, and then I was going to go after the barge, but then the lock master said, oh, sorry, it's too late now. So that took like 45 minutes of waiting that I could have been heading north. So I'm going to try to stick with these guys for a little while, but I don't think I can go the speed that they go. I don't want to run the motor too hard, and I don't want to run the rudder too hard, because the faster you go, the more pressure is on there. Off because we're going by this barge. I have it set to, I think, 100 yards. It should be like 300 feet. And coming close. So that's the boat beacon AIS. We also have the AIS now with the radio, which is really cool. That radio also has the ability to connect to a NEMA 2000 network, and then you would actually get AIS on your chart plotter, and that would be really cool. Our chart plotter does not do NEMA though. We would need to have a Humminbird Helix 7N, is what those ones are. Heading on downriver. We should be able to get to go by St. Louis pretty soon. And then the plan is to stop in the hoppies. I don't know if this is beeping too because we're going behind them. I had that problem yesterday. And whenever I would go behind the barge, coming right behind them, I would think I was going to run into them.
You probably already know this, but you got 5 pleasure boats headed your way. Anyway, the main chamber is there.
Here's the narrow.
Been listening to you guys.
Hopefully we can get through here. Look at the snow. It's crazy how low the river is. That's the last lock of the upper Mississippi, through all of the locks and dams. So it's pretty cool. I think we can go 7 miles an hour. On Lake Mille Lacs, we used to go 5 knots cruising speed, and that's like 6 miles an hour about. So, but if they get way ahead of me, I'm not worried. We're not trying to keep up with other people. We're just trying to do our own thing. Around this barge, which I don't like going so close to the shore, but we do what we do. We do what we do. Kind of cool going 7 miles an hour actually too. Get a little more speed. I'm scared at any moment I'm going to just be going and all of a sudden, BAM! And the rudder's going to fall off again. That was just, it was crazy how it was. There was no way telling, and there was absolutely nothing I could have done. Like, it was under the water. There was, you couldn't see it because the water's so low, and everything's changing on the fly, so you can't tell. Like, the charts aren't always up, they're updating, but they're not, there's no way they can say, hey, a log got deposited here last night. We know. Somebody's got to hit it for them to know about it. And that's what I ended up doing. And so I reported it over to the guy at the lock, and then he said he let the Coast Guard know, but I didn't know the exact spot. So just marked it. There was some stuff over on the starboard side of the channel. At least the sun's out. It's going to get up in the 70s today, which is going to be really nice, especially after we've had 39 degrees this morning. but my body's getting pretty used to it. So it's kind of cool how your body starts to when you're in nature all the time, and it just gets used to the differences in climate, and you stay warm. Your body like regulates better. I guess as people, we get so used to being in air conditioning and heating and climate control that our bodies don't get to. It's probably like a muscle, like anything, you know, you work it out and your body gets better at it or used to it. So when you're inside in climate control all the time, you do not get to sorry, a little bit of we're definitely being close passing this one. Daniel McKinney. And then we got another one up here. What? Looper Convoy, so that's pretty cool. Looper Convoy. Oh my god, this is stressful. We are right by the barges. There's the dredge over there. And yeah. Oh, right. The sand, that's where they're dredging. Rail bridge by St. Louis. And there's the vehicle bridge.
I got the small chamber. Go back to the big one.
And over here we have the big arch. I can't believe it. I remember sitting at home reading about all this and seeing like SDG when they went by the St. Louis Arch and going, wow, isn't that so cool? I wish I could do that. And now we are doing it. It's amazing how far our radio goes now. I know it at least gets.
Be advised, it is a no-wake zone idle only when you get down in here. And get over there on the east side below the barges. You should be okay. Just kind of bubble around in there for a while.
That was a fellow looper behind us that didn't make it when we went through. I was hoping they would. But they didn't. So we head south. We're gonna go by the big arch. That's insane. This little boat did it even after everything we've had happen. We are doing it. To 6 there. 6.8 or 7.8. We're cruising. I think I'm gonna let Avalon pass me though, and I don't like pushing the motor like this. So we'll let them go ahead and they can continue on. So we'll get out of the way so you can pass us.
all PNC are in operation.
So, it was nice seeing these fellow loopers. We will see them later.
Yeah, they are.
So, I'm sure he doesn't want to get lost from the group.
27 Garyville, did you copy that?
Plus, I kind of want to go slow and kind of just enjoy this. This is really cool getting to go through this. St. Louis like this. I never thought I would ever do this, especially on this boat. When we first got this boat, when my dad came home and went, "Hey, I bought a sailboat," I never would have in a million years thought this is what we would be doing. Never in a million years thought this is what we would be doing. So it's pretty cool. Oop, awake from Avalon there caught up to us. We were doing the homestead and we were getting ready to do some upgrade the main electrical 100 amp to 200 amp. And Dad came home and said, "Hey, I got a sailboat." And then after that, homesteading pretty much stopped. Everything became about this boat and trying to give him his last little woo-hoo in life. And we were able to do that. And I'm really glad I did. And now, because of it, I'm able to do my last little woo-hoo. Well, not last woo-hoo, but my woo-hoo in life. Ooh, you can really see the shallow there. Look at the fence popping up. Because of all the work that we did in fixing up this boat, like a thing I specifically remember doing this transom with my dad. He actually helped me paint it. Because you have to do the tuck and roll or whatever, where you roll it on and then you use a brush so you don't get the orange peel look. And so we did that, and then we added the extra fiberglass and the backing plates for the rudder, and that really helped out because these did not pull out at all. If you look at the bracket, it's bent because that must be the one that the top one's the one with the cotter pin, and so it hit it and kind of bent it up, and then the lower pintle came out first because that rudder gungin is down a little bit lower, and so that pulled out, and then it went up and it bent the top one, but it never actually pulled out the screws, broke the screws, or the bolts, not screws, or the connection. We used 3M 4200, and then I made sure I got 316 stainless, so it was the stronger stainless. And then we also did stainless backing plates behind it to make sure that it couldn't just pull through, because originally they just had the nuts and bolts. There were no washers or anything. And I've seen online that a lot of people have had their rudders rip off because of that. And ours did not. Like, the back end didn't rip off. The rudder came off, but it didn't actually rip off the back of the boat. And the gungins are also the upgraded ones from Catalina Direct, so that helped as well. Because if they were the original ones that came with the boat, those were super flimsy, and it would have not been able to do that at all. Alright, now we're meeting up with the current again. Right over there to the left. So now, we're getting some good speed. The arch, we did it. So I'm really hoping this rudder I'll be able to repair. I'll just have to get a different cable. What's happening is, you see the cable there, push too far that way. Ooh, let's not go too crazy. It doesn't push it all the way, and what happens is it gets so far and there's so much cable out and it bends, so you cannot turn to starboard as far as you normally would. And then because it's also the cable, if there's a wave or anything that comes from the starboard side to hit it, it can kind of have a little bit of play. And so instead of going straight, you're kind of going ooh a little more. But it's working. And then we made sure that I got the new
Gary Bell, Lock 27. Got a good 6-port line there on the head.
I use seizing wire so it cannot pop up. So we should be good. We'll make it to Hoppies here, get some more fuel. I'm thinking Green Turtle Bay might be the next place that I know I could get to and get supplies, and then we'll be able to get it fixed before we get to the Gulf, where you're gonna really need it. Because right now with the just normal weather, it's not really a problem, but if we had one of them 30-40 mile an hour days with the rain, we throw on our goggles and get ready to go, it would not work very well, I don't think. So you gotta be careful. Slowly see this fade off in the distance. So I believe it's another about 20-something miles to Hoppies. I'll look up the exact distance here, and when I come back, I'll let you guys know. Alright, here we have the vehicle bridge next to St. Louis. Trying to watch out, this barge has got a pretty good rig coming in front of it there. Alright, we should be good. So yeah, we will fly the Jolly Roger through St. Louis. So yeah, I was a little discouraged this morning when I woke up. Just kind of going, oh boy, I hope we didn't finish the boat off and we can't fix it or anything, because these single pedestals, they don't make anymore, so you can't find parts for them. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to find a cable. But I was reading online and somebody said that you can use another type of cable. They have boat rudder cables that have that same kind of thing where it's a small screw on one end, and then on the other end it's a bigger screw with the metal bar sheath kind of deal. And I gotta deal with the weight here of this barge, and then the boat doesn't want to turn like it normally would. That was a good example of there was a bigger wave or with the wake, and it turned the rudder more than I wanted to, so I had to deal with that. So, onward we go. Can't believe we're gonna go through St. Louis. But anyway, now that the days went on a little more, I'm feeling a lot better. We got to test out our new radio, and we got the antenna up. So the AIS works on it. So it's going good, and we'll be able to fix things. We will overcome. That's the fun of the adventure. Nothing can keep you down. Bad things can happen, but it's how you handle them and how you get back up and keep on going that makes the man. So if we have to, you know, most of these boats come default with just a tiller and not a wheel. So I have the metal plates to make a tiller. We just have to get the piece of wood, cut it to the right length, and then put on the two metal plates, and then we'll have that. I think I'm going to put that together anyway, just so we have it as an emergency, so then if anything happened where the steering cable broke, we would be able to grab the emergency tiller and then just slide the one bolt through and connect it to the rudder. Because steering with your hands, the rudder is quite tricky. Here you can definitely see how low the river is. It's not even up to the top of the casements. See the sand over there? I don't know what this is, but it looks really cool. And the water's so low you can see where they used to eject their waste. I don't know, it's an electrical plant, I think. Maybe that was for cooling and steam they made, I don't know. But it's a cool old building. And it looks really cool with the water being so low. And up here we have the arch. Arch in St. Louis from the river. Wow, you can really tell how low it is here. I know online I was reading how low after you get past the last block there it gets, but you really start to see it once you get past it. Like right then, bam, past the lock. Alright. No way to control the water. Never thought I would see the loop. I mean, not the loop, the Great Arch like that. Looks like they have a trolley too, light rail. That's cool. We did it. We made it to St. Louis. I can't believe it. We really did it. Gotta watch out. You can see right over there, there's a log in the river. So, no more locks and dams, so we're done with them. For the Mississippi anyway, until we get over to the Ohio and the Tennessee Tom and Kentucky Lake. Kentucky Lake has one, before you get into that, that's a 78-foot drop, I believe. That one's going to be really fun. Hey, some shade. But yeah, this is just really cool. I'm just kind of in awe. Going through St. Louis here is really cool. They got all the bridges and then the big arch. Out of all the cities I've went through so far, this one's got to be the coolest architecture-wise. Has the most stuff to see. All these cool bridges. This bridge right here with the train that goes underneath it, and then the cars on top. That's really cool. Looks old with the brick. If anybody in the comments knows the history of this bridge, I'd love to hear about it. Oh, right over here they have helicopter tours. That's kind of cool. People can come up and go see the arch. Looks like there's a big park there and everything. But we did it. There's the arch, St. Louis. Did it. Boy, after everything that happened yesterday and then waking up and just being like, ha 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 ha. Stuff like this that kind of reinvigorates you and makes you think about it. I know last night once I got to Anchor, it was just a beautiful sunset. It made all the stress kind of just go away and you're just like, this is why it's worth it. This is why it's worth it. We got a paddle ship we got to watch out for. Arch in St. Louis. Who would have ever thought a little guy from Minnesota on a little boat would make it this far? Here's the good shot. Alright, here's the good shot. Dead on in front of the great, or the Arch. St. Louis Arch. I don't know if you can go up in it. I'm seeing there's windows up there. Oh, it's not gonna focus. That would be pretty cool. So, perfect picture. Then we'll go under this next vehicle bridge. And that'll be it for St. Louis. Oh, here's the helicopter landing for the helicopter tour. So that's pretty cool. Just lands right on the barge there. Helicopters are always fun to watch. This guy must do this a ton. You can tell he's just right on in there. Not even really a hover, just doing it. Oh, there he's got his foot down. Here we go. I know my dad was saying, he was saying it was pretty crazy what those helicopters can do. Some of them pilots, once they really get used to their machine and, know what it does. He was saying sometimes they would land, they would come in, and they would like land and turn, and the ship would slide over. And all sorts of crazy stuff. Out giving a tour, and now we're going to be part of their tour. So we have our Jolly Roger flying, and everybody recognizes that. So in case anybody didn't know the difference between a red and a black pirate flag, a black pirate flag meant that they would take prisoners, and a red one would mean no quarter. That they would not take any prisoners. Trying to figure out why this ship is doing his horn, maybe just for fun. We do not have an air horn back. That's what we really need on this boat. It will be cool to see how loud that PA thing is. Yep, everybody's looking at us. I think people are even taking pictures. Arr. So, under the next bridge we go. Alright, that was St. Louis. The water so low you can really see all these sunken barges and stuff. This one doesn't look like a barge, it looks like an old steel ship. Cool. Hoppies was like 2 miles ago 28 miles, so it's probably 26 miles now. So that's not too far. Like that in 4 hours. We're going 7.6 miles an hour. I might roll it back to 7. We want to save on the motor as much as we can. We don't want to beat on it until we're like in Lake Superior at the very end, right outside of Duluth. Then I won't worry. There we have a sandbar in the middle of the river and an old sunken barge. Over here we have the Charlie T running around, scooting stuff around. Like ahead of us here we have a barge that we'll have to watch out for, but otherwise it should be pretty much smooth sailing. anything in our way, which is interesting after yesterday when we tried to get through the chain of locks canal. There ended up being a ton of barges at the time. It was just bad timing. We wouldn't have had to worry about trying to get around that barge. We would have never been over on the side of the channel and wouldn't have seen anything. But sometimes they say everything happens for a reason. So now we're going to have the opportunity to get a new cable if we can find one. And if not, we're going to be able to make a rudder. And well, no matter what, we're going to make an emergency rudder. Or an emergency tiller, I should say, for the rudder. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole in the bottom pintle as well as the top pintle, and then we'll put in 2 cotter pins, so the bottom one and the top one.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Has a cotter pin. And then that way it'll be a little bit more secure. But in a way, I was thinking, the way it was, it's almost like a poor man's kick-up rudder, because by having that pin shear off, then you get to have that shear off and the rudder pop off instead of it ripping off the back of the boat. So it's kind of like a catch-22. Do you reinforce it so if something does hit it, it really, really hits the back of the boat? Or do you just leave it how it is and know in your head that if that happens again, it'll fly off, but the steering cable should hold it, because it's like a 1/4 of an inch thick steel cable, so there's no reason that should break at all. So, things to consider and think of when we're working on the rudder. I know they also have a blue water rudder for this sailboat that's supposed to be for like racing sailing or deep water sailing, and that's actually I think 6 or 7 feet down. It's basically the same depth as your keel when it's down, or a fixed keel Catalina. And by having that, you have a lot more steering power to turn on a dime then, but I don't know if we really need all that. I don't think we do, but it's one of those things that is available for this boat that they have. They also do have kick-up rudders too, where it's the rudder and then it has like a piston, and if you ever hit anything, it kicks up. Sorry, there's some turbulence coming off of this barge, so I gotta pay attention. Now that we're finally past all the locks and dams and the water's not so low that we just have dead pools, we actually have some current. So we're going 9 miles an hour with the same amount of throttle that we would normally be able to go 5. So that's pretty cool. We're cruising now. I don't know if I've ever went 9 miles an hour in this boat. We went 6.8 knots. So I'll have to figure out what that is in miles an hour to let you guys know. Keep on heading down the river. So we're about 10 miles from Hoppies, I believe. So it shouldn't be too much farther. So now we're starting to get into some rock instead of just dirt and sand and mud. So that's kind of cool. It's, what do they call that when it's those sheets? Not shale, slate. Which is really cool. I bet you could go up there and pull some of them apart and find some really cool fossils. It's really cool looking. Crazy to think too, like you can see how the river would have been up to like the tree line there. But when you see it, you know, when you look at the river, you never know how it goes. And like there you can see there's like shelves that you'd never know about. So like going in front of it, you'd be okay, and then like right in there, you'd be okay. But at certain spots, you would hit stuff, and it would be a bad day. So it's kind of cool getting to go through and document how low the river is like this. Not too many people are going through at this time in a sailboat or looping solo. Cool, unique perspective. Alright, here we're going under the vehicle bridge that's south of St. Louis. I am not sure what it connects. I didn't see any towns right by it on the map, so I think it's just a bridge. Definitely tell how low the river is here. They have all these wing dams and weir dams. And as you can see, they are all out of the water. Alright, here we are coming up to Hoppies. Here's the loopers that were with us earlier. They're down there. With all the rigging, it makes it hard to get the camera to focus where you want it to. So they're getting gas, and then I believe they're going to keep heading down. That's my plan as well. Get gas and then just keep heading as far as I can until I find a good anchorage. Alright everybody, so we were able to secure a spot at Hoppies as well as get fuel. So I'm pretty happy with that. Here is the Mellow. We're pretty far down in the water compared to some of the other boats, but we're loaded up. They're gonna have us move back there. So they're gonna get all the other boats secured first before we head back there. So we're gonna chill here and then we'll head on back. All right, everybody. So here is the Mellow. We're all tied up for the night. Should be a good time. So I think that'll be the nice laid back easy day. We'll get a good night's sleep and then we'll head out early in the morning.